Hello friends, welcome if you're new here, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Elise and this is my mystical bookshelf. And today I have for you a video similar to the Sugar Shack Witch mysteries. This is where I'm going to talk about a series comprehensively, and there's definitely spoilers in this video, so if you have not read The Vampire Knitting Club, I suggest you read it and then come back here, because I am going to talk about a whole ton of books that are in this book series, and there's going to be a whole ton of spoilers. So without further ado, here we go. So today I'm going to talk about The Vampire Knitting Club by, what's her name? Nancy Warren. Let me start by saying that this book series is so interesting. Like, I had no idea that this existed. I was just looking at audiobooks on Audible one day, and I was like, you know what sounds interesting? The Vampire Knitting Club. Like, vampires and knitting, that sounds really nice. I'm not gonna lie. And it's very good so far. There's like 15 books in the series, and so far I am on book number 7, I think. So I'm about halfway there. I think that Nancy Warren is going to continue like writing books though, because they're really great, and I think she's got like a plethora of ideas from what I can tell. But right now on Audible they have this thing where it's included with your membership as like a box set. So like this first installment that I listened to was books 1 through 3, and then the second installment that I'm listening to right now is books, I guess it would be the third set, because so far I've listened to books 1 through 3, and then I've listened to 4 through 6, and now I'm listening to 5 through 7, I think. Yeah, something like that, because it's funny, I was going through my books, and I got done listening to books 4 through 6, and I totally forgot what number I was on, because I was trying to look at Audible, and sometimes it doesn't always show the number of the book. So I was like, I just finished listening to Fair Green Isle. That was book 6, I think. And I thought it was book 9 for some reason. So I started listening to book 10, and I finished it. And I was like, wait. I feel like I skipped some things, because it was revealed that Rafe has feelings for Lucy, which is something that I already knew. But like, he basically proposed to her in that book, and I was like, hold on. I don't think I got everything from that one. So then I looked at it and was like, wait, I listened to book 10? What happened to the other 4? So I was like, oh, I gotta start over in that one. So now I'm on book 7, and I'm gonna save I'm not gonna listen to book 10 again, but I'll listen to book 11 after that. Or after I'm done with this box set that I'm listening to. So I just thought that was funny, because listening to these book series, they're all standalone books technically, but it's kind of like when you're watching a sitcom, there's like certain things that have happened, and you're like, hold on a minute, I feel like I missed something. So then you gotta go back, and you're like, oh, that's why, because I skipped like 5 episodes, and I didn't realize that so-and-so did this, or so-and-so did that. So I kind of backtracked. So I'm on book 7 right now. And let me start by the premise of this book series, because it's kind of confusing, but it's very interesting and entertaining. So Lucy is 27 years old, and she is an American, and she moves to the United Kingdom and lives in Oxford. And she moves there because her boyfriend, called Ted the Toad, lovingly by her ex-boyfriend, excuse me, she finds out that he's cheating on her with someone. I don't know who. I don't remember who. But, yeah, she finds out she's being cheated on, and she gets upset, obviously. And they break up, and she's, like, having this quarter-life crisis, I guess. That would be what it would be considered, because she's 27. So she moves to England to be with her grandma. She thinks she's going to be there for not that long. But when she gets there, she finds out that her grandma died. And I'm like, what? Her grandma died? And that was like the weirdest part of the whole book, was like it starts off really like heavily with like her grandma passed away and she doesn't know where she is, but or she doesn't know what happened or anything like that. And another weird thing in the book is that like Lucy never found out about it, which I thought was strange because it sounded like she was really close with her grandmother. So I thought that was interesting. And then when she first gets to Oxford, she kind of sees a woman that looks like her grandma, which I thought was weird. And like Lucy tries to go up to her and talk to her, but this woman is like having her head down, like she's wearing this really big hat, and she's like trying to pretend like she doesn't know Lucy. And so Lucy thinks that's strange, and then she goes to her grandmother's knitting shop. It's called Woolsey something. I can't remember the name of it, which is really sad because I've been listening to this book series forever and I can't remember the name of the bookshop, but it's really cute. It starts with a W. So she goes to her grandmother's knitting shop and like she notices that it's closed, and she sees this woman who looks like her grandma before she knows that her grandma has passed away. So she's like having this weird mental breakdown like moment. She's like, oh my gosh, am I going crazy? I swear I just saw my grandma. And so she goes in there and goes, kind of snoops around, and I think she learns from one of her grandma's like best friends that her grandma had passed away. But then Lucy's like having this moment where she's like, I swear I literally just saw her. And everyone's like, no, you're just crazy. Your grandma's dead. And it's revealed that her grandma is dead, yes. But her grandma got turned into a vampire, which I was listening to that and I was like, what? She got turned into a what? Turned into a vampire? I just thought it was really funny. I was like, dude, what a premise for a story. Like, your American granddaughter goes to live with you and she finds out you passed away and turned into a vampire. Like, what the heck, man? That's really funny. I don't know, that was funny to me. And then the first book is like, Lucy has to find out who murdered her grandmother, which I also thought was funny because it's a murder mystery series, and the first mystery that she has to figure out is who killed her grandma. And I'm like, wow, that's what a way to open a book series, honestly. Like, that started off so strong, I'm not gonna lie. So then Lucy has to figure out who murdered her grandma, and she figures out it was like this kid who, I don't know how old he is, but he murdered her for money or something like that. And like, this kid was the son of one of her grandma's friends, and this friend was Lucy's assistant in the shop. And now Lucy has to find another assistant, but the assistant that she first had, I can't remember this lady's name, but she ended up dying too, along with her grandma. So that first book is like, it's really weird. It's a really strange premise, but it only gets better from there, honestly. Because then in the second book, it's called Stitches and Witches, and it's funny because Lucy finds out that she's a witch too, and she finds out that her grandma was a practicing witch when she was alive. And I just thought that was a really interesting twist too. So this book not only deals with vampires, but it also deals with witches, and it's a murder mystery. This book is like perfect this book series is perfect for like Halloween and spooky season and October and September and all those months. And it takes place in England, in Oxford, England, which I thought was also really cool. It makes me want to visit England, actually. And it made me want like biscuits and tea and all those good foods. Actually, it also makes me want to take up knitting too, which I thought was funny, because that's where the Vampire Knitting Club comes in, because these vampires, they all live under Agnes. Agnes was Lucy's grandma's name, or is Lucy's grandma's name, I guess, because Agnes is still undead alive? I don't know how to say it. But, yeah, so these vampires all live under Lucy's knitting shop. It's called Cardinal Wolsey's, that's what it is. Oh my gosh, that just came to me just now. I don't know how that happened. I don't even know how I thought of it. But yeah, it's called Cardinal Wolsey's. And so after Lucy inherits the shop from her grandma, she finds out about the Vampire Knitting Club. And then she meets Rafe, who is this kind of like Edward Cullen, but not really. He's much more classy than Edward Cullen, in my opinion. And like you can tell that they're going to be kind of a thing, but it's not going to be very, 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 very long time because it's like a super slow burn romance. Like the romance isn't even really the main part of the story. It's kind of like a subplot of a subplot of a subplot. Because like there's all these different stories and all these different characters in the book series so far. And Rafe is kind of like a main character, a main side character, I guess. And so is Lucy's grandma. So Lucy's grandma comes in from the subsequent books after that. And each book kind of deals with a different part of Lucy's life. So the first book was Lucy finding out that her grandma's dead and turned into a vampire and that she inherits this knitting shop. And she's 27 and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so young. I can't own a knitting shop. Knitting's for old people. And she kind of breaks that stereotype because knitting is actually awesome. Even though she can't really knit that well, which sounds like something that I would be plagued by because I'm not really good with like really intricate crafts, which is unfortunate. I mean, I know how to sew, like sort of, but I think knitting would be really hard for me to learn, but I'm going to try to learn it because of this book series. But yeah, so the first book is kind of like Lucy dealing with all these life changes and figuring out who she is and if she wants to stay in Oxford or not. And she does end up staying in Oxford, obviously. And then the second book kind of deals with Lucy learning that she's a witch and learning she has other witchy relatives because she meets Violet and then she meets Lavinia. And Lavinia is her great aunt and Violet is her cousin. And Lavinia is Agnes's sister, so that's where the great aunt and the cousin come in. And she also meets this other witch named Margaret, who is a complete bitch. I do not like Margaret. She is very mean. And so the second book is kind of like Lucy coming into her witch powers and realizing that she has this responsibility in like the coven and stuff. And it was very interesting, and she actually gets her cat. His name is Nyx. She's a little black cat. She's very cute. She's considered Lucy's familiar. I don't even really know what that means in terms of magic, but she's like Lucy's companion and helper, I guess. That's the best way to put it. And so that book kind of goes through that, and there's another mystery that takes place in it. Like I said, all these books have different mysteries that are like the side plot of the story of Lucy's life. And Lucy is just always sleuthing, always trying to figure out what's going on. She's very nosy, which is something that you have to be in these mystery books. But that one was very good too. And then the third book was Crochet and Cauldrons. And that one was also very interesting. That one kind of dealt with like a murder mystery and more of a romance, but not between Rafe and Lucy. It was between so Agnes is friends with these two tea lady owners, or tea shop owners. They're sisters, and their names are Flo and I can't remember the other lady's name, but they're sisters and they own a tea shop together. And I think the third book kind of goes through like one of them gets into a romance and the other one is like upset about it because it's taking away sisterly time. And what I think is so cute about all these books is that they all deal with like older people. Like older people are the main characters mainly, besides Lucy, who's my age, like 28, 27. And I just think it's very interesting. All the characters are super colorful and super lovely, and they're definitely some of my favorite characters that I've read. And it's just interesting how each story like goes through something different. And so I just really love this book series, honestly. And it's something that I completely recommend that everyone start reading because it is super interesting, it is super funny, and I don't think I have a favorite book in the series so far because books 1 through 3 are all really good. Books 4 through 6 were all really good, and book 7 is really good so far too. And I just think it's interesting because it all deals with like the same cast of characters, but with like a few more side characters added in. And it's books that you can read without like in chronological order. I'm just saying that I read book 10 way ahead of reading book 10, but even though I listened to it full all the way through and I wasn't confused at all, even though the last book I had read was book 6 and I jumped all the way to book 10 on accident. So it's not like you have to read them in order, but in terms of like Lucy and Rafe's relationship, it would be best if you read them in order, because where book 6 ended and book 10 like picked up, I could tell that I had missed something between Lucy and Rafe's relationship, but it didn't really muddle the story any because their relationship is not like an integral part of the story, but it is something that you should have like a little bit of background on. And so yeah, book 7, it's really great so far, and the other books were also very enjoyable, and the narrator is awesome. Her name is Sarah Zimmerman, and she does really great accents. Like, I am astonished with all of the accents that she has. Like, she does British accent great. There's a couple Australian people in this book at some point. She does that great. There's also a Scottish man at some point in the book series. She does that great accent too. I just can't imagine doing all those accents and like nailing it perfectly. Like, that's something that blew me away when I first started listening, because she goes from Lucy's like North American accent, like the United States sounding person, and then she does seamlessly to all of these other England accents and like different cadences, like different parts of England too. And I'm just like, this is amazing. It's really soothing to listen to, honestly. Like, Sarah Zimmerman has a great voice and a great knack for telling stories, because listening to this at work, it's like the perfect like background noise for me to like half-heartedly listen to while I'm doing my work and not be confused or wonder, where am I, what am I doing, what am I listening to. It's very easy listening, which is something that I enjoy with cozy mysteries especially. And I would totally recommend this book series if you have Audible, because right now all of them are included with membership, but I just the other day I noticed that it said not all of them are going to be included come October 25th. So I guess if you want to read it or like listen to it on Audible and you have an Audible membership, I suggest reading all of them before 10/25, because they're not going to be included with the Plus membership after that, which I thought was weird. I don't know why they're doing that. And it's like, not all of them are going to be unavailable, but some of them are. Because like right now, the only one that is like that you have to buy with a credit is book 14, Mosaics and Magic, but the other ones are included with the Plus catalog. And like the box sets that you listen to are included with the Plus catalog. So I'm not sure why they're like making it so that you have to use a credit to buy the other ones now. I'm thinking maybe because it's so popular, it might be getting more popular and that's why they're doing it, so they can monetize off it more. But whatever. So I'm just going to try and listen to all of them before 10/25. And then next time I get my credit, I will buy Mosaics and Magic. But yeah, that's my overview of the Vampire Knitting Club so far. I think that Nancy Warren should totally continue this book series for however long she wants. I totally think that I could listen to this for the rest of my life and not get bored. And I really hope that she does that, because it's a really great book series. And I totally recommend it. And I thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my subscribers, and thank you to everyone who's new here and watching. And if you guys could like my video, that would be great. And if you guys want to comment down below what your favorite cozy mystery series is, I would love to find out, because I think listening to cozy mysteries is like my new favorite thing to do, because they're just so easy to listen to, and I totally recommend them. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye!